kids. Gotta love them. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Kentucky Hot Brown Boys podcast. I'm your host, Jerry Saylor. In the studio with me tonight, as always, my two best friends, the two best friends that anybody could ask for in the whole wide world. Of course, I'm talking about Dustin Buechele.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
I almost slipped up, man.
You did. You look like a bumblebee tonight.
I do. I feel like a bumblebee tonight.
I almost wore my Forsberg jersey, but I didn't.
You should have.
I should have.
We could have looked like matching bumblebees.
I had it on. I was looking at it in the mirror, and I was kind of like, I'll just wear the hoodie.
Well, all I got to say about looking like a bumblebee is we're going to bring the sting tonight.
We are.
Oh, yes. Also in the studio, my other best friend, Chubby Friendly, everybody.
Hello. Why'd you go as Dustin Buechele and not Dusty B?
Well, it's funny you say that
Yeah.
because tonight in the studio we have a pretty important person here. Mm-hmm. So I told myself I'm gonna clean it up tonight.
Oh,
yeah,
going that far?
I'm going that far, man. I told you, man.
Oh, we didn't even. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I'm not even gonna call him his regular nickname.
Yeah.
You know,
I kind of miss
Dusty B.
He's Dusty B. Or
Right,
Dustin
but
Buechele.
Dustin Buechele is fine.
Yeah, or Dustin Beagle. Depending on what side of the family
Right.
is listening.
Yeah, depending on what side of the family's listening, it's either Beagle or Buechele.
I love it.
So in the studio tonight, like I said, for those of you who follow the page, you already know we have Joe Ulloa.
Hello.
He is running for mayor of our lovely city, Independence, Kentucky.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited. I don't even know where to start. I guess the first place to start, Joe, tell me, how does just a regular, everyday, normal guy go from being a regular, everyday, normal guy to running for mayor?
Wow.
What's the thought process behind that?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It started out as just sitting around with a couple ideas. You know, we sometimes complain, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we don't always agree with our politicians, and we're like, today's the day. I'm gonna go run for mayor. You know, and I was kind of joking around with my friends, and they looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Yeah, why not? Why can't just an average guy go out and run and be mayor?"
Right.
So, and that's just it. Just snowballed from there.
Snowball from there. You know, I went down. I went down to Covington there and filled out the paperwork. Got some signatures, and there it is. My name's on the ballot.
And that's all you have to do. You just go and you fill out some paperwork saying I'm going to run for mayor. And how many signatures do you have to collect?
I got 25 because that's how many was on the sheet. But when I went to find out and I went to turn it in, they go, "Wow, you got a lot of signatures. You only needed 2." Wow. Oh,
Nice.
I went above and beyond.
Why is the number so low? I figured more than...
That's like tradition, right? Like you say, you have nomination and then seconded.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense, yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure on that either. You got to find yourself a treasurer. I could be the treasurer, but my neighbor is he's my treasurer, and he's an accountant.
I was saying, is he like a CPA or something?
So you have a
Right, so-
cabinet as mayor?
Nah, just neighbor
okay.
friends. Yeah, hey, you're good with money, right?
Hey, how's your checkbook? You keep it balanced?
Yeah.
You're hired.
So he's my treasurer. Any contributions I get, I hand it directly to him. Go, here you go. So he's responsible. In Kentucky, he's pretty serious about contributions
As they
in
should
politics.
be.
Oh yeah, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we started. A couple weeks later, got a couple phone calls. Hey, we'd like to check you out. I was like, me? I'm a nobody. I don't know anybody. You know, who's gonna vote for me, right? You know, who's gonna care about who's Joe? You know?
So at this point, it was still just kind of like a goof? Like you were just kind of goofing? Or?
I mean, I was like I was kind of serious about it, but you know, partially joking. You know,
Right.
It's like because I didn't think anybody was gonna come out and support me.
Right.
You know, I was like, I'm gonna put my name in the ring and let's see what happens. I'll go out and knock on some doors, introduce myself. I probably won't get very far, and I'll just get told to go away. You know.
Yeah.
But that's what got me. Was that you came on knocking my door and all the other doors, and that's what matters, in my opinion, is that you came and knocking on doors.
I think that's important. I mean,
Yeah.
I have discovered the more I talk to people, people really appreciate the handshake and the hello.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge. I hear that all the time. People are like, no one ever comes down the street to say hello. You know, I'll go down these side roads, you know, particularly like Rice Lane or Webster Road off of Richardson Road, and there's these places I get scared going back. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, am I going to get shot back
I
here?
used to deliver pizzas back in there. Let me tell you, when you get to the very end down on Webster, it's like, have you been down there?
Well, yeah, I went all the way down.
Yeah, it's scary back in there.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think like some boy's gonna walk out like, my pa's told me to shoot anybody who walks on this property.
Yeah. Well, back when I was delivering pizzas, they would always order pizzas, and I'd have to go back there and deliver it to them. And they've got like, I don't know how many dogs, but there's a
No
lot of dogs.
trespassing sign.
Yeah.
Beware
Oh, yeah.
of dog. And
Yeah, it was scary, man. You get out of the car and you got a dog jumping up on your window like, "Roar!" Yeah, I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got out under any other circumstances.
You're like, here,
Yeah.
eat some pizza. Go away.
It's scary. I don't recommend going down there at night.
You know, there's
pretty
places
spooky.
you didn't know it existed in Independence. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I ran into I was knocking on doors and ran into this older gentleman. Kind of a I don't want to call it a sad story, but you know, you can see his house was kind of in hurting. You know, the house is not in
Yeah.
good shape. Talked to the gentleman, and you know, I talked to the neighbors after I talked to him. Found out, you know, he's about in his 90s and doesn't have air conditioning, doesn't have heat. He's just sitting there with one light bulb in the house. You know, and
Oh,
so.
wow.
Luckily, I have a little piece of property that we cut some trees down in, and I'd like to actually. I told my wife we'll hook up the trailer and bring some wood. If he'd accept it, I'd probably have to talk to the neighbors and see if he'd accept help. You know, some people are just like, oh, just
Oh,
leave me
yeah.
alone.
Yeah,
You
proud.
know?
Yeah.
We'd have to figure it out, but just little things you see, and going down these side roads, it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised a lot of people can live like that. Really.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with it. You know, some people like living like that.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if I could live out in the middle of the woods and not talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And, just give me an internet connection.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
These
keep,
days.
keep the neighbors away. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gots to have the internet, man.
Yeah. But it does. It kind of breaks your heart a little bit
It does.
to see people hurting like that.
It does.
Who don't deserve to live like that. You know, they deserve to have more than one light bulb and air conditioning and all that good stuff.
Well,
the
there are
creature comfort
things that
things.
we take for granted.
Yeah, the things we
Yeah.
take for granted. Yeah.
What's interesting to me is like you started out by dipping like your toes in it, and was there a moment where you realized that you were feet first, like all the way in?
Yeah. When some of these people, some of the people that started endorsing me or just wanted to meet me, I went in a room full of about 10 people, and I was like, oh wow, you're gonna
Yeah.
put your faith in me. I'm just a guy that's just starting to run. Like I said, I'm not connected to nobody. I don't know anybody.
Nervous? Or,
Oh yeah, I was real nervous.
Were they like drilling you, like asking you a bunch of questions and stuff?
Not too bad. I mean, they asked me what my plans were and
Yeah.
what I want to do, and they want to just get a feel for me.
Right.
And by the time we left, everyone was like, "All right, we're gonna help you get this started." You
Was it a
know?
bunch of
Awesome.
suits or?
No, I mean
Oh.
there were a couple of former council members, former mayor, some so being nervous in a room full of people that have been in office and has
Right,
the
yeah.
experience, and
They're
I'm just,
looking at Joe who
Yeah.
doesn't have any experience.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
Do you feel like in this day and age that people with no experience can actually do some good?
Yeah, I think people that don't have experience in politics, I think, because they bring ideas. It's a little more. I don't want to say maybe diversity, maybe to.
Right.
I'm not in the political scene, so I have ideas that say, hey, let's bring this up. I'm just an average guy, an average citizen. I think sometimes our politicians forget that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they all do that, but I think we get so embedded in what we're doing in the office.
the
we
career
forget.
politicians.
Right.
Right.
They,
Career
they
politician.
kind of forget that a lot. I
Right.
think. I
Right.
think you're absolutely right about that.
And that's like what I was saying before about getting into politics, is that it's kind of a spectator sport. That's the way we treat it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people complain about, like you were saying, like people complain, but nobody ever has that, or not often do people get the idea of, well, I'm going to run for mayor, because it feels like politics is kind of something that you're selected from an early age.
Right.
Like you're in debate club or student council, and then it's a natural progression like from there. Like sports, like you start playing football, and then you
do
get
you
to
think all
college.
politicians come from like debate club and stuff like that?
No, they come from money.
I
They come from where?
They come from money.
Oh.
well, but Yeah, but then they're groomed from an early age.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, I guess that's the cynical view of it. You know, like, well, how could I be a politician? I'm just, Tim from Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know,
Instagram handle.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's that's what I think is really interesting about you, Joe, is that like you're not like one of those guys that has been selected from an early age, or you come from money, I assume, and politics was just a career path that was decided from you from an early age.
Correct. It's just you hit it on the head. When I was a kid growing up, we had 6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, luckily I had parents that made sure we had everything we needed.
Yeah.
And just went through life, going through life, and then we all sit around. I sit with my father-in-law. He's big into politics. He's like, we'd probably be better if we ran, or we all joke around. And then, one day I decided, what, I'm really gonna go do this thing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that happen? I'm not a career politician, so, if I don't make it, okay. But I hope I inspire other people behind me just seeing what I did. Okay, you know what? If an average guy can do it, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Or gal, either way,
I'd say an accomplishment already is that you were in a room with, people that were like grooming you, or at least checking you out.
Yeah.
I mean, they took you seriously.
And
So I mean, that's already like a milestone right there.
Yeah.
Do you think, God forbid, that you don't get the mayorship this time around? Will you try again?
I don't know. Something to think. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than I thought it would
You
ever
thought
be.
it would be?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought a handful of signs, talk to a few people. That's not how it is. I'm out every morning. I put the kids on the bus, make sure the kids get on the bus, and they're off to school. I get dressed and I go out tagging in the morning. Go to work all day. Then I go tagging in the evening, start talking to people. Go out on the weekends, start talking to people just like I met you.
Yeah, you got me on the weekend.
Yeah.
It was like Saturday evening, like when people start to go out and stuff. So even he got me, and I was like, I didn't expect it. Like I said, he came to my house, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. So I went out and talked to him. He kind of told me what's going on and things like that. And I came inside, and my wife was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "It's a guy running for mayor. He's a pretty nice guy." And I was like, I kind of like that. He actually came to my door and wanted to talk, and I'm like, that was pretty cool. So like, you don't get that.
Yeah, you don't see that, especially here in Independence.
Yeah, you don't get that at all.
I think the last time I had anybody who was running for an elected position, it was a judge. It was a female judge.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was years ago.
I didn't think I was there when she came to your house. It was at the old house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yep.
probably were there.
I think I was
Because
there.
we always hung out there.
Yep.
But I just don't think you see it. Like you said, you don't
You
see it enough.
Well, people like, you go from door to door. People like that. You can talk to them. It's not just like
You make it
I'm running for
personable.
mayor. You make it personal. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like when you go to the ballot, you're like, last time I went to the ballot, I'm like, I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
I don't know their story. I don't know what they look like. It's like, why should I vote for them? Because I don't know who they are.
Right.
It's like, now I have a face. I have a name. I know what he's about. It's like
A name, a face, and a personality.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
a nice guy, and you're a veteran as well.
Yes.
So it's like that's even it's like that's a home run right there.
You're
It's
voting
like,
you're voting on values and
exactly.
not party
It's
lines.
exactly.
or
It's
anything
definitely
like that.
values. It's all values.
Yeah.
It's like that's a home run right there. That's the guy I want to vote for. It's like I don't know anybody else, but this is the only guy that actually made the effort to come to my door and talk to me as like a human being.
That right there
as a neighbor
is worth getting my vote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, yeah, home run.
So for people that don't know, you are a veteran.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about your experience in the military.
Sure. I joined the Army 2003. My basic training was in Oklahoma, Fort Sill. Did my school training. I went in as a crane operator. Army life, though, that you don't always get to do what you sign up for.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I was a crane operator. Went down to Fort Leonard Wood to do my crane operator heavy machinery training school. Then they decided, well, you're going to get stationed out in Germany. Awesome. Love Germany. Germany was so cool. And then in 2005, got deployed to Afghanistan. So I was down there and met my lovely wife, which was also in the Army. And we've been married 12 years.
Oh, wow.
I think
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
It was about 2 weeks ago. I'm back on the 23rd 23rd, 26th. Oh, my wife's gonna kill me. She's probably watching. Sorry, honey.
He's nervous. We put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Cut him
no.
some slack.
It was in September. So yeah, we met in Afghanistan, and then she was also stationed in Germany, which was cool.
Nice.
So then we went back to Germany, and we got together, and we had our firstborn in Germany. So he's got a really cool birth certificate. It says American citizen born abroad. It's pretty neat.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's always asking, does that make him dual citizenship? I said, no, it doesn't work like that. You know,
He's still American.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you said that earlier, I was thinking, does that mean he has dual citizenship? So I'm glad you cleared that up there.
Yeah. So then we went. He was only there for about 6-7 months, something like that. But I took him around a little. We traveled a little bit with him. So I have pictures of him when he was a baby crying in front of the Eiffel Tower and
cool.
some of the castles out there in Germany.
Yeah.
You know.
You didn't name him like Hans or something, did you?
No,
Because that
no.
would be more confusing.
You know, his name is AJ.
Okay.
So we did that, and we also took him out to the beaches of Normandy. That's
wow.
yeah, it's a very humbling place. If you guys ever get a chance
yeah.
to
I'd love
visit,
to go there.
it's very humbling. I mean, you sit there and you look at the beaches and you wonder how these guys in World War II crossed those beaches. I mean, it is something to see.
Are the artillery or the bunkers still there?
So there's some.
That would be like the thing for me.
Yeah, there's still some. There's still some artillery. They have cages locked up, so you can see
Yeah.
where they were stationed and stuff. It's
Because
Yeah.
that would be like you standing on the beach and facing those are like the bunkers.
Just how big they are, and just,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that-
these poor guys. Some of these beaches are 20 feet wide, so
Yeah.
you wonder how these guys made it across. It's pretty amazing, and give my hats to those guys. We were fortunate enough to be there on the annual in June, so it was like I think we were
Oh,
the
wow.
4th, and I think they invaded on the. Don't quote me. I'm going to say it wrong. I don't want to say it. Somewhere in June.
D-Day.
Yeah.
D-Day.
D-Day. Let's call it D-Day. Thank you. So we were there a couple of days, and there were a couple of World War II vets there, and they actually told us a story that they actually, stormed the beach, and one gentleman's like, yeah, I made it, but day 14 I got shot. Another guy's
Wow.
like, 10 feet where we're sitting, I made it across the beach. And it's amazing
Wow.
to be there and hear those stories is amazing. So being in the Army was really a privilege, an honor to travel the world.
So when you were in Germany and Afghanistan, were you still the crane operator or?
No, actually, they stuck me in as a pack clerk, so I did a lot of clerical work.
Okay.
So I mean, I was an ammo supply unit. So
Okay.
the cranes would pick up all the heavy ammo.
Okay.
And load up the pallets to send down range. So they're like, well, we need a pack clerk, so they chose me. So I became a pack clerk and pretty much does all the files, all the paperwork for everybody, things like that. We went down to Afghanistan, pretty much did majority of that, did a lot of guard duties and did that. Operated a lot of heavy machinery, loading ammo.
Was there any close calls, nervous?
We had every once in a while you hear a rocket go off or something like that. But where we were stationed, there was 30,000 NATO troops, so really the Taliban didn't mess around too often.
Nobody trying to come jack ammo from you guys or anything.
No,
like that.
no.
But still, like you never. That's the thing. Is like you never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could just get crazy because that's the kind of war you're fighting.
Yeah.
Wow,
Fortunate enough, I was, we were in a spot where it wasn't too bad. I know that sometimes they would put these mortars in the ground when it would freeze the trigger, and then when it would thaw out, it would release the trigger somehow
wow.
and start lobbing stuff into the base. But like I said, we were fortunate enough they didn't really come mess with us. They'd go hit those smaller bases, so those outposts.
And you said your wife was also in the Army as well, right?
Yeah, she was.
What was she?
She was a
What did she
fueler.
do? Okay.
Fueler.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
She scored really high on her ASVAB when she joined the military, and she decided to be a fueler.
Is she from this area, or is
She
from
grew up from Iowa. She was from
Oh,
Iowa,
wow,
actually, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so
Nice.
she went there.
middle of nowhere?
Yeah, middle of nowhere. And I've been there. Osceola, Iowa. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a nice town, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
I've driven through Iowa once, and I was like, oh my god, there's nothing here.
Texas, man.
Yeah.
Texas is the worst.
Well, I don't
Just
know. I've
thinking
been to
about
Wyoming.
Texas.
Wyoming is desolate. You want
Oh,
to talk
yeah.
about desolate, Wyoming?
I've heard stories. I've never been there.
Yeah,
but-
I did it with a motorcycle. We went out to Sturgis, me and my wife, one year, and
Oh, that's cool.
Desolate. That's
Yeah.
desolate out there.
Mm.
Cool, beautiful beautiful country out there.
Yeah.
So
But there's literally just nothing.
nobody lives there.
Cornfields.
I think what do they have?
Yeah.
500,000, 600,000 people, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
And
some-
Wyoming's
Wow.
a big state,
It's a
too.
big state,
It
You would
is.
think, like, they'd put a Walmart there at least.
Right.
I'm sure they got Walmarts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Somewhere.
not within like a 10-minute drive
Yeah.
of each other
Yeah.
like they do around here.
Yeah, pretty country though. Pretty country.
So as you're running for mayor, what are some things? I don't want to say what were some of the things that you were kind of jokingly like complaining about or whatever.
Like, what was the big thing?
But
Sorry to cut you off.
What are things that you want to do and change in Independence?
Sure. I mean, what I like to do is definitely have transparency in the city. I think sometimes we don't have enough. I don't think the city updates us enough. On their website, they put it on there, but sometimes I think they need to put a little more information in there.
I haven't seen a whole lot of the City of Independence website, but it seems like anytime I do go there, it's always like the same boring stuff. Like you don't get constant updates.
Like firehouse dances. That's all you get.
Yeah,
That's what it
really
seems
all I
like to
see.
me.
Yeah.
And maybe they just don't do a good job of broadcasting it too. You know what I mean? But it should be easy
Right.
to find. Hey, this topic is up for vote, or this should be up. I think I'd like to at least post that. Even create another Facebook page. I think they have one, but maybe just be more
every
informal.
now and again you'll see something about like a firehouse dance or something.
Yeah.
You don't really hear a lot of the topics. What's going on, what's being voted on in this meeting. What are some of the bulletin points
The
that
minutes.
we're talking about? The minutes. Yeah.
I think the minutes are up. You can look up the minutes, and then I think a day or so after they'll have the video up. It's actually broadcast, and you can actually watch it. But it's like, maybe I'm not interested in the firehouse dance that day. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'd also I'd like to attract us some more restaurants in the town, some small businesses. I'm really big on let's get us some small businesses, some minor conveniences in town.
Right.
But our problem is that we don't have some kind of industry, some kind of lunchtime day crowd.
Right.
To support these businesses. So the idea I'm running past people, and I ask people at the door, because if I'm going to be mayor, I want to make sure people are okay with it. I don't want to just like, this is my idea solely. I want the opinion of everybody, and I want everybody to be okay with it. And I think if we can somehow attract a small hospital into the city, it's not a dirty industry. It's basically people work in the city now. They're going to want to go out to lunch. People visiting the hospital are going to want to go out to lunch, and that would help support these businesses. Maybe a family sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
I've heard over the years I hear a lot of stories door to door how this,
Well, there's
this
supposed to
restaurant was
be an
here.
Applebee's. I've heard that so many times. It's like,
Right.
Well, it's like a lot of family sit-down restaurants don't last very long in Independence.
No.
But it's like there's B-dubs.
that's
Yeah, but
that's
it's
more like a
B-dubs.
sports bar.
That's like a
type
sports
place,
bar.
Yeah.
But like like a lot of the restaurants don't last very long. It's it'd be nice to get something that's really stable out there, and like you said, have some kind of industry. That's the first thing you said to me when I said, and you're like, well, I like to get like a, like you said, like a hospital, so we can get a lunch crowd and then things like that. And I was like, well, that's kind of true. We don't have that in Independence, and that'd be really nice.
Thinking about it though, and I'm not trying to, go against what you're saying here, but would a hospital be what would draw in like a good lunch crowd? Because a hospital typically has like their own food, and they would serve it to people and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, I don't think a smaller hospital might have a big cafeteria.
It's like the one in Covington doesn't. I don't think has like a very big cafeteria. I think it's just like a little. You just grab your food and go.
But
or
not
a
everybody
vending
wants.
machine.
I don't think everybody wants to eat cafeteria food all the time either.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the ultimate answer, but it's just an idea that I'm trying to pass.
Yeah.
Aside from the getting a lunch crowd thing, I think having a hospital in Independence would be a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it'd be good. Not only would it bring jobs, but it would.
That's
it's
the
a service that people
catalyst
need. Yeah.
to bring more.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're already a growing city. We have
Fastest
been for a
growing
long
city
time.
in the state of Kentucky.
We have been for as long since I moved here in 98 or 99.
98, I do believe.
Yeah. There's been tremendous growth. I mean, you've seen the same thing in Alexandria, but at a certain point it starts to stagnate. And something like a hospital would be another like a milestone.
Yeah.
You get a
Right.
hospital out here that attracts doctors and more money.
Who wants to drive to Edgewood and Florence all the time, though,
And
too?
yeah,
Right.
and then you get the Target that we were already always promised.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. The
the-
Applebee's.
Yeah, the Applebee's or whatever.
Which I wouldn't eat at Applebee's.
I keep
Right.
saying a Dunkin'. I keep saying a
Absolutely.
Dunkin' Donuts.
A
Would
Dunkin'
be
Donuts would
amazing.
be a
I-
big-
Dunkin' Donuts would be nice.
That's my thing. I was like, we need Dunkin' Donuts in Independence, and I keep telling my wife's dad that, like, hey, you got the money. We need to put a Dunkin' Donuts in Independence.
We need a White
Right.
Castle.
It would be perfect.
White
But-
Castle's.
I
what we
heard there
need.
was supposed to be a White Castle at one time.
I've heard that too, and
Another thing that
yeah, you see it, and it's not here.
Yeah. But then the doctors who don't want to go to like a Dunkin' Donuts might want to go to
Starbucks.
Well, the
Well,
Starbucks.
They got the Starbucks
or like
at Kroger.
But that's not
Like a
that's not a
trendy-
real Starbucks.
Yeah.
That's a Kroger Starbucks.
or like a hipster bar that serves gourmet burgers.
Yeah.
And once you start getting that, then
Well, I was saying maybe like a small little brewery, maybe.
a brewer,
Yeah,
anything like that.
That
like,
would kind of get a
that's-
lunch crowd.
And that's what we're seeing is going on in Dayton and Newport and Bellevue.
Yeah.
Or
Breweries are popping up everywhere.
And once that starts happening, then you get like there's a fantastic place in Dayton or Bellevue. It's like on the line there called the Purple Poulet. I mean, that's a place that serves amazing. Like if you're not at the Purple Poulet and you want the stuff that the Purple Poulet sells, you have to go to Vine Street.
Yeah.
Once you start bringing that stuff across the river, I mean that's
They need
That
a
would
good
be-
breakfast place as well,
Yeah.
I think, in Independence.
We're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about
Like,
Fresh's
yeah.
breakfast bar, man.
But like a lot of people don't like to go to like a breakfast bar. I don't like to go to a breakfast bar. Like
No.
like the Walton Family Restaurant, perfect place.
Oh,
Granted,
yeah.
they smoke and things like that, but something like that,
Yeah.
maybe like First Watch or something like would be awesome. Like
there's a
breakfast.
place called what's it called? Wild Eggs, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good place.
Yeah.
I've been there out in Louisville, and I
Yeah,
think they got
yeah,
a couple
Louisville
in
is where
Cincy.
I've been.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
went first time. That place was amazing. Really
Amazing.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so that's my I get that. And like hospital, there's the Fort Thomas Hospital, and that's near Dayton and Newport and all that. So yeah, I think that would be a very nice first step.
It's just something too, and also
Uh,
being in southern Kenton County, and it would help these other cities like Falmouth and Butler. Those poor
Yeah.
people got to drive an
Yeah.
hour and a half to go to a hospital.
Absolutely.
Well, then
Yeah.
that would also drive up revenue for the city. They
Correct.
would come to
Yeah.
eat restaurants around there. It's like that's a win-win.
Yeah.
They don't have to drive as far, and they're eating in our city. It's like, why not? That's perfect.
Yeah,
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
The one thing about Independence that you can definitely tell what side of the highway is growing up. Like the Madison Pike side is just blowing up, but meanwhile the Taylor Mill side over by where you guys live,
Yeah.
it's dead. There's like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not even a subway there.
I mean, I
anymore.
agree, but
Yeah.
over time, like the library, the old library, things have come and gone in there. I mean, it
Yeah,
just
anything
it's
that goes
just
in
hard.
there, it's just
hard because
disappears.
Independence, the other side of Independence is booming.
Right.
It's just like it's just hard. It's just an old. I hate to say it's older, but it is an older side of Independence, and
Yeah.
I think people are like, let's go to the more updated side.
Well, the economy of the people that live that would support that business values the dollar saving Frisch's or the dollar saving, McDonald's or whatever. So when you put a hipster kind of place in that area,
Yeah.
it isn't going to
doesn't drive
get
very
supported
well.
because they
Right.
want to be at a place that has a more hipster crowd.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in the day, the Taylor Mill side used to be where it's at.
Yeah.
They had the IGA.
Mm-hmm.
The
which
bowling
is where-
alley.
Yeah, they had the bowling alley. I mean, it was the spot. And then the Madison Pike side was nothing.
Yeah.
Kroger's really blew that side of Independence up.
It really did.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say when they built the school, when they built Summerview Elementary and Middle School,
Yeah.
and then they built Kroger, that to me, from what I can remember,
That's a milestone
when
in
it blew
itself.
up. That was a milestone in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was a huge deal because everybody was like, they're redistricting, and they're like, I don't want my kids to go there, but it's like, I went there, dude. It was awesome. I'm glad
I
went
never
there.
went there, but I knew a lot of people that did, and they
Yeah.
loved it. It was a great
Yeah.
school.
So that to me, that was a big deal. But it's crazy. It's just growing. It's like
But you want to keep that growth going.
Yeah, you want to keep the growth going, and I think the idea that you have, Joe, I think it's good. It's a good start for sure.
yeah. It's just small ideas. I mean, Florence is a very nice town. But I don't think everybody's a fan of Mall Road and Houston Road. And
Oh,
that's
Oh
just-
man.
Yeah, so that's nothing.
Especially with the holidays coming up.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to get within,
On
10
Sunday.
city blocks.
And then
from
on
there,
Houston
yeah.
Road, there's no gas stations.
Oh.
There's
Yeah.
no gas station on the Houston
Yeah,
Road.
you're right.
You gotta
Yeah.
It's like,
go
where
from
do I
one
get
end all the way to the
gas?
other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. It's like, how do we not
Wait,
have a gas station on Houston Road?
Doesn't Meyer have a gas station?
No.
That
There's
one
no
doesn't
gas
have a gas
station.
station.
No,
Oh,
there
you're
is
right.
officially, from what I can think of off the top of my head, there's no gas station on
From Commonwealth
on
to
Houston Road.
18.
You're right.
There's
He's
no
right.
gas station.
Yeah, like
Ah.
I can remember. I know the Speedway right at the
There's
very
speedways
end.
on both
on
ends.
both ends.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
like we don't have nothing. Like I know we're talking about Florence, but there's nothing. Like hey, there's nothing near Best Buy. There's nothing near Meijer. There's nothing near the Walmart. It's like where do I mean, the Speedway is kind of close to Walmart, but it's like farther down. There's like, I need to get gas, but you know,
I gotta go all the way to 18 to get it, and then I gotta go all the way back down here.
Yeah.
Because that's the direction I'm headed.
Yeah.
Is it Commonwealth or Donaldson?
Donaldson.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the same thing. I think part of it's Donaldson.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was saying.
It all kind of runs together at some point.
It does.
But me and my wife, we complain about that all the time. But it's neither here nor there. But,
Sorry, I didn't mean to trigger you, Dustin.
no, it's cool. That triggered me a lot. I was like, every time I'm on Houston Road, I'm like,
what?
why is there no gas station? We gotta go to the PetSmart and Target. There's no gas station. Like, what's going on? Well, whatever.
Oh.
So what was the big? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
So what was like
what was
the
big
big
thing?
like kick in the butt? Like, I want to run for mayor. I don't like this. I want my voice. I want my voice and other people's voice to be heard. Things like that.
My woe is me story, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I guess, people ask me, like, what made you all of a sudden, right? There's got to be something, right? And sure, it's my catalyst moment where I said, that's it, there was something in our subdivision that I didn't quite agree with, and many of my neighbors and friends, in our subdivision didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And, we asked the mayor in the city for help, and we didn't, it just seemed like we weren't being heard.
Yeah.
For several different, several options we asked. It just kind of got pushed. How I felt, some of my other neighbors. So at that point, I said, that's when I'm going to run. I'm going to run.
Was it something that was like, it wasn't really a big deal, but when you didn't get help for it, you kind of turned it into a big deal?
Yeah, I guess you could
Yeah.
call it that. And I'm not trying to call it I don't know what the word is.
The straw that broke the camel's
Right.
back?
Okay. Let's go with that.
Okay.
We'll take that. It was just something I said, that's it. I'm going to run because I just don't feel like I'm being heard.
Right.
We offered, several things, not just me. I really didn't say very much. You know what I mean? It was more my neighbors and other people. And I said, okay, I'm going to follow them because they're saying what I feel too.
Right.
But nobody was. I decided to just stand up and said, I'm going to run because I just don't feel like I'm being heard. And maybe everything that the mayor's saying and the city's saying was perfectly right. But somewhere down there, I still think that, something else could have been done.
Right.
There was a reason I moved to that subdivision. There's a reason and that was kind of the like I said, my catalyst moment there.
So, what was your reason for moving to Kentucky? Because you're from Chicago,
Right?
And you were stationed. Would you say you had your training in, was that Oklahoma? You said.
Yeah, my basic training in Oklahoma.
And
Yep.
then you were in Germany. So what drove you to Kentucky or Independence area?
Sure. So we moved back to Illinois and finished our guard and reserve time. My wife went to the National Guard for 3 years, and I did the reserve for 3 years. So we just finished our time up in the military. And then my wife is a mechanical engineer, so she's very smart.
Wow.
Mathematician.
I hate to cut you off
Do you
here.
lose a lot of arguments?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I hate to cut you off here, but I would just like to point out we get a lot of guests on this show
But like wives are
who
like
have
super
awesome
good.
wives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've noticed that.
Yeah. It's crazy. But go ahead, continue.
But he works.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish I could quit. Anyway, so she got an internship when Toyota was still down there in Hebron, right? And so she's like, well, I'm going to do an internship for a year. So we kind of halfway temporarily moved down here. So the wife and kids were down here, and I was still working in Chicago because it was just a temporary move, just an internship. So she was down here with the boys. So I was commuting for 7 months back and forth every week.
wow.
Just
6 hours?
it's 4 hours.
4 hours? Okay.
Sure, 6 hours.
He
6 hours on Google.
He goes through all the tolls, so he don't bypass the tolls.
Yes. I got my
There you go.
iPass. Yeah.
Hey. I'll never say I'm not the smartest person.
So
He's married to a smart wife. So.
Yeah.
So one day I got my motorcycle down here and started riding around Kentucky. And I said,
What kind of bike you got?
It's technically my wife's bike.
Oh.
It's a Harley Davidson Softail Slim.
Okay.
Hey man, it's a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too afraid to get on one. So
I know I'd kill myself.
Yeah, I know I would
It-
too, so-
it wouldn't be good.
yeah.
I had a Dyna Super Glide at the time, so we had 2 bikes at the time. But to free up a little money, I sold mine and just use hers for now. But I was riding around and I go, wow, Kentucky's beautiful. I mean, it's gorgeous riding. I love especially riding down. Just a quick ride, I'll hop on 17 and go all the way down to
This
Falmouth.
time of year, man, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous,
Fall.
and we decided that we looked at the cost of living. The cost of living is so much lower compared
It's
to
perfect.
Chicago. I mean, it's great. And I was like, I never thought I would ever own a house. Let me tell you, because in Chicago the cost of living is high. Don't get me wrong, I love Chicago.
Right.
But the cost of living is just it's too high. And
Too
I
damn
cannot-
high.
Yeah. So giving my children more than I ever had, that's really what it was. You know, like I can give my kids more than I ever had. A house,
schools are
and
good,
Schools
too.
are good.
Yeah.
I mean, and we fell in love with independence. We found independence like we were looking for a place to live. We went from Florence to Southgate to Dayton we finally found independence, and that was the place. Like, wow, I fell in love. So for 6.5 years, that's where we've been, and we're gonna stay.
It's crazy to think like Independence now is such a booming and growing city, but what 30, 40 years ago?
In the 80s, it was a witness protection program.
Yeah, it
place.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this little fun fact about
Did not know that.
Independence. Have you ever seen the movie Goodfellas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Henry Hill
Hank Hill.
and his wife Karen, they went in the witness protection program. Independence
Was the first place.
Stop it.
was the first
Yeah,
place
dead serious.
that did both of them come here? Or
It was
just
only
Karen?
her. I think it was only her because I
think
thought
it
he
was only
died,
her,
right?
yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, he
he lived up until like
a couple years ago.
like 2015 or something.
Okay.
Something like that.
All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, she actually lived here in Independence. I don't know exactly where, but yeah, it was the first city.
But back
That's
then there
okay.
was no Kroger, so it could have been, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all those many years ago. Was it the 80s or was
Yeah,
it 70s?
80s. No, 80s.
That people would come here and get in the witness protection program, and now it's such a big city. I don't think they
Probably
would,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
No.
no, there's no way they'd send anybody here
No.
for the witness protection program. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I'd like to figure out where she lived.
Yeah, I would too. Because the Lufthansa heist was in the 80s.
Hey, if
Yeah.
we got a, he hits from there, we might have a hookup.
we got an
I'm just
in,
kidding.
man. Point us
Might
in
have
the
an
direction
in.
of them records, man.
Yeah.
Open the
kidding.
books.
Open records request. Let's go.
So let's see here. Now, as a motorcycle rider,
Yes, sir.
does it make you mad when people blow their grass clippings in the street?
Oh yeah.
Now that's a law, right? You're not allowed
I think
to do
so.
that.
I believe so. I think it's what the ordinance
I
is.
avoid like when I cut the grass on like to the street, I make sure I'm blowing it into my yard just for that
Right.
reason. Just because it makes me mad as like driving in a car when people do that into the street. It's like I can imagine being on a motorcycle, get pretty mad because that's like glass, man.
It's
like,
dangerous,
like
man.
riding on ice.
The bike can slide out from underneath
Yep.
you and stuff like that.
Yep.
I would like to see when Joe becomes mayor, he strictly enforces the no blowing your grass clippings in the street. I would love to see that.
I'd have to go after myself. I'm guilty of it sometimes too. My wife yells at me too. She's like, "What are you doing?" And then I'm out there in the street trying to spread it all over the place into my neighbor's yard.
My wife, she typically cuts the grass here.
Really?
'Cause she just loves to cut grass. It's the only thing she really wants to do around the house. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and she just that's the one thing she wants to do. So I just let her do that. But I will say the past couple of times I've cut the grass, and it's pretty cool. But she's bad about that, and I'm always like, look, honey, you gotta stop blowing your grass clippings in the street. It's dangerous, Plus, I think it's against the law. And she's always like, I don't want to hear it. So,
Actually, this time more of the year is the worst. Is the leaves, the wet leaves.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
just-
the
That's
leaves.
the worst.
Yeah.
That's when the most you got to be careful
Yeah.
with.
Yep.
yeah.
And then really the most you got to worry about is the drivers, the other drivers. That's what we got to watch out for the most.
That's my thing about riding a motorcycle would be other drivers and things like that. It's just like, man, I don't really trust any other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people pull out in front of me all the time. They may not even be looking. It's like, I wanted a bike. I used to want a bike really bad, but I'm just kind of like, I think I'm gonna stick to a car. Being completely enclosed, a little bit more
A
comfortable.
little
for
bit
me.
more safer.
Yeah.
I just want
That's
to
how I feel.
fact check ourselves real quick.
Yeah.
Hill and his wife Karen entered the U.S. Marshals Witness Protection Program in 1980, and they changed their names and moved to undisclosed locations in Omaha, Nebraska. So I guess that was first, and then Independence, Kentucky.
So they both lived here.
I guess so. That's according to just what I'm reading from Wikipedia. But Independence, Kentucky's always been there, so I feel pretty safe that was one of the places. But it was in 80, but Omaha, Nebraska was first.
I wonder why they
That's-
moved from Omaha to Independence.
Didn't he
Yeah,
get in
so I was
trouble?
wondering.
He got in
Because
trouble, didn't he?
Henry
Oh, yeah.
never liked being in the witness protection
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, he hated it.
Yeah, so he was always voicing. So I guess that's why they had to move him around a couple of times.
Yeah.
Maybe they moved him to Independence because it was close to what's the big Italian restaurant, Newport?
Brios?
No.
That's in Rain
Start-
Man.
Rayman.
Yeah.
Pompilios.
Pompilios, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they moved him to
Nah,
Independence.
I don't think so.
If he was still
Maybe.
alive, I'd like
He
to
wasn't
tweet
even
to him.
Yeah,
Italian.
No, he was Irish.
He was Irish.
Yeah, but he liked Italian food.
Wasn't he
That's
half
true.
Irish?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. Yeah,
He even says at the end of the movie, he's like, you can't even get good spaghetti. You know,
yeah.
Was
I
it,
love that
ketchup,
movie.
ketchup and noodles. Yeah,
egg noodles. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that movie.
I love
My
that
wife
movie,
gets
too.
tired of me watching that movie. I watch that movie way too much.
Yeah, me too.
I watched The Departed way too much.
That's
That's a good
another
one.
The
good one.
Departed, man.
The
I
Departed is
love
like the
that movie.
Goodfellas of our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie, Joe?
Ooh.
Of all time.
Of all time, hands down, favorite movie.
The Godfather, the second one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Godfather Part
Gotcha.
2.
Yeah.
So good.
For me, I'm more of a Godfather Part 1 kind of guy. But that's because I watched Godfather Part 1 so many times before I sat down and watched Godfather Part 2. And I never actually watched Godfather Part 2 in complete
It's a
until
long
I-
flick.
Yeah.
until I watched the HBO when HBO did a timeline cut of both movies. Did you see that?
And they put them together.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, really?
They did a timeline edit and put both movies together, but you start in Godfather Part 2 because it shows you Robert De Niro coming up as Corleone, the first Don Corleone.
Yeah.
And then it jumps to Michael becoming the Godfather in the later half of the movie.
Right.
And then it goes to Vegas after the Godfather Part 1. So, yeah.
But
Godfather Part 1.
That. All supercut like that?
Yeah. It was really good. I mean, it's like 6 hours long.
Oh, yeah. You have to dedicate a whole day to that. Really.
Yeah, I really do.
I mean, we binge watch now everything, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
it's
not?
true.
And that's when I watched it. It was like when the binge time. But for me, Godfather Part 1, the Italian restaurant scene where he assassinates the what's the other family? Lucchese?
Something like that.
Lucchese,
So,
right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the police commissioner or whatever, and then he goes to Italy. And then when he comes back, Don Corleone gives that speech. So should a lightning bolt hit my son, I'll have to blame you guys. And then the assassination of the 5 families. So fucking good. Love it.
I always forget which one is it. Where is it? Take the gun, leave the cannoli.
That's the first one.
That's the first one.
Yeah. Love that. I love the first movie. So that's why.
That is a good one.
But Godfather Part 2 is great. I can see why more people like Godfather Part 2.
I mean, Godfather Part 1's right behind it. So
Yeah.
it's right there.
I mean, they're both equally good.
But I also like a couple westerns. I think they're like right there, you know, like the good,
Oh,
the
yeah.
bad, and the ugly. of
Oh, the
course.
good, bad, the ugly.
And Once Upon a Time in
great.
the West.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, love
Yeah,
that.
I love westerns, man.
Yeah, westerns are awesome.
Take a pause for just a second. I think your mic died. I'm gonna
Yeah.
reset it real quick.
I think it did. Oh, watch yourself.
Go ahead and talk for me, Joe.
I'm back.
Yeah,
There we
I
go.
can hear you.
Okay.
Go.
Alright.
He goes, I'm back.
One of the disadvantages of having an in-home studio is you don't always have the best equipment at all times.
Yeah.
You got a
Technical
nice-
difficulties.
I do have
Yeah.
to say, you guys got a really nice setup here.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. I get a lot of compliments about it, and really, where everybody's like, "Oh man, it looks so great," I just see room for improvement.
Yeah. But that's just because of your house.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's funny, while we're on the topic of movies, when we were talking about Joe getting the call to become a mayor, I was like, the only way I know of being called to become a mayor is if a crazy teenager wearing a life preserver shows up and says, "You're going to be the mayor."
That would be a cool series to like have it recut.
Yeah.
and put.
Oh,
cut
yeah,
in
timeline that together?
Yeah,
You talking about Back
Yeah.
to the Future?
Back
Yeah.
to the Future, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
that'd be really
I
cool.
thought you-
November 5th,
1955.
1955.
That's I
Yeah.
knew you referenced
Yes.
that before. Yeah, before we started,
Yes.
Joe referenced that, and I was like, I know what you're talking about, Joe.
He's on it, man. All right, every once a month he can come on.
I'm down for that.
Thank you.
So, what's the ultimate goal? Becoming mayor. Ultimate goal. What's the big thing that you want to see other than bringing a hospital in, which I think is a great idea. What are some? Well, maybe not the big thing, but what are some other things that you want to do when you become the mayor.
I'd like to see more sidewalks in our city too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough. I mean, I walk down these side roads campaigning in like McCollum and Mill Road and Cox Road and Fowler Creek, and you see these kids walking down. It's not safe. I talked to a mother down McCollum, and some of the school kids walk down from Summit View, I believe, and the high school, and they're like, that's dangerous, because people fly down those roads.
Oh yeah, guilty right here.
And I understand sidewalks, cost money up front, but on the back end of that, sidewalks don't cost anything to maintain. For a little safety. You see Taylor Mill and these other cities that they have sidewalks and walking trails. We should be able to walk across the city. Maybe, if it's only one path, but maybe I can finagle my way. We spend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that. A lot of us residents, we go to other cities to utilize their sidewalks and their trails. We spend a lot of our money out of our own city without just putting a little bit back in.
A nice sidewalk from like Independence all the way down to from Taylor Mill all the way down to Independence would be great. They have them high curbs.
Yeah.
So they're pretty high. So if a car would, if something would have happened, the car would take some damage before it actually jumped the curb.
Yeah.
And that would be nice. It's like when that's another thing you said to me when you came to my door was like, it would be nice to have some sidewalks. I'm like, you know what? I've never thought of that till like now, and you think about it, like that would be kind of nice. People in Taylor Mill, they get to walk. Man, I drive to work down Taylor Mill Road. There's always people walking their dogs, riding bikes, running, doing things. That'd be perfect. I've seen Tim. I've honked the horn and yelled at Tim. He takes full advantage of the sidewalks.
That's what I was going to say. Is I live in more of the Taylor Mill area, and and I utilize the sidewalks. I go running for a mile. I have a mile stretch, mapped out. And when I drive past Nee's Pharmacy, that stretch of 17 has a sidewalk, and every time I'm there, you see people walking their dogs,
right?
That live in that subdivision right there, or just jogging. And I'm like, man, if the rest of 17, there's not a lot of subdivisions there, but I guarantee you that there would be people that would walk that sidewalk for the simple fact that there is a sidewalk, and they don't have to drive all the way down to Pioneer Park to walk the blacktop trail there.
Yeah,
it gets a lot of traffic right now, but if there were sidewalks that people could utilize, they would use them.
We have such a pretty city. Why not walk around it?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of us from my subdivision in Lakefield, we have sidewalks, but we're stuck in our subdivision. You can't go anywhere with the bikes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just want to take the kids for a bike ride to get ice cream, or take a walk and get ice cream and stuff.
Yeah.
But nope, we got to load the truck up with their bikes and go some other city that has that stuff, which is a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, like for small businesses and independents, that's not really a booming thing. I mean, would you, how do you feel about smaller business and independents,
right? Yeah.
Like t-shirt shops, or I know I used to know the owners of Hotties. They used to be in independents and things like that.
Is it Hotties or Hot Tees?
It used to be like Hotties is what they used to call it.
I always thought it was
with the
Hot
dash.
Tees.
Yeah. So what do you think about smaller business? Of course, I'm sure you're probably all for it.
Oh yeah, because small businesses is huge. That's the whole point. That's why I was trying to say, the hospital thing is that this can help support our small businesses. We can bring a big box store in here, but that just puts too many small businesses out of business, and that's not what we're here for. So I'm totally for small business. New ideas. Someone might have some. I spoke to a lady the other night knocking doors, and she wants to open. I know we have one chiropractor I think over there, but she wants to own one too. More competition.
Oh, of course.
She says it's really tough to work in.
I was trying to think. There is a chiropractor right over there on the corner
Ace.
of.
Right?
Yeah. There's one there, and there's one over on Taylor Mill on the corner of Ricky Lane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And they've been there for a long time. I don't even know if they're still open.
Well, there's one right down from
from
Cherokee as well, near Bear Court, around that corner.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Same one. Yeah, I've actually utilized that business there. That's the chiropractor's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to go there when I was a kid.
I've heard he's a pretty good chiropractor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Really, Dr. Doug.
Yeah.
I actually utilize the dentist next door too. So
there is a dentist office there. Yeah.
I mean,
that's another thing. There's a couple dentist offices. I think there's one. That one. I think there's one.
There's another one in Independence.
Independence on Main Strip, things like that.
Strip by UDF and all that.
Yeah, and I think I've heard a couple commercials that they do the where they the anesthesia. I don't want to say it's anesthesia. Is that what it is? Where they put you to sleep so to work on you. Yeah. So
I don't think they do that there.
I'm pretty sure they do.
I don't know. That's the dentist I go to, and I don't think they do.
They don't do it there?
Wait,
No.
which one?
The one next to UDF in Independence?
No, it's not that one. That's not the one I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the one that's kind of right down the road from the courthouse. I'm pretty sure there's one
I think
there
they do
too.
that. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I used to go there.
I know which
Yeah.
one you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Across
Because
from
I know that-
Independence Station right there.
Mhm.
There's one by the library, and the William E. Durr Branch Library.
Yeah, there's a good one
It
there
used to
too.
be Dr.
Yep.
Dahlman, but I
Yep.
think she moved.
You know, that's another good thing. Independence have a great library.
Yes,
mean,
I love
yeah.
our
yeah,
library.
Yes.
well, they call it the Kent County Library, but it's in Independence. It's great. I love that library.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that library.
We used to take the kids there all the time for when they were younger for the story time and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're always doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, and that's something else I was looking focused. Is more family. There's not enough stuff for kids to do in Independence.
No,
Yeah.
there's
You
really
know, there's not, you know,
Between
who-
the library and the skating rink, you know what else is there?
And
Right.
that skating rink. Okay, I'm not going to say anymore.
My kids love it. They go there all week. We take them all the time. You know, like more parks. You know, I had somebody that's got a child with autism, and she said, you know, what if we had a park with fenced in? You know, and it's not a terrible idea. You know, and
Yeah.
also it utilizes multiple persons. Now you got children without autism. You know, sometimes you lose sight of your kids for just a minute. You're like, oh, where they at? You know,
Yeah.
that fence
Right.
is not an ultimate stop, but it gives you a little more second, a little more. Okay, if I can hear the fence rattling, is that my
Yeah.
kid hopping the fence? You know?
Yeah,
Right.
and it gives them something to do. Like, you know, give them. You know,
A
my wife
boundary.
works with autistic kids. Like something that draws them in. I don't say like a puzzle, but something that just kind of like intrigues and they kid that's autistic and things like that. You know, something I don't say it's got to be dedicated just to
Right.
them, but something that benefits them as well.
Right.
You know.
And then also, someone gave me another idea the other day about a dog park. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people like to take their
That'd be
dogs.
I would love to do a
Yeah.
dog
I
park.
love a dog
You know,
park.
small dog park within the big dog park. You know,
Yeah.
that's not a terrible idea. I mean, we got plenty of land. You know, again, I don't know how if that's even feasible. We'd have to look at land. You know, once I get in there, if that's in there, I have to find out. you
Yeah.
know.
Is Pioneer within Independence?
No.
Mm.
Oh,
Covington.
okay.
Yeah.
That's- okay. Okay.
I don't even think the dog park there even
gone now,
exists
right? I
anymore.
heard it
Yeah,
was
it's
gone.
gone. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
I
tore it
didn't know
down.
that.
Like the
What? I don't
fencing's
have
gone.
dogs.
Like I drove by there a couple weeks
Did
ago.
it get flooded out? and
It's
they tore it
probably what
down?
happened, but it's not
Yeah.
there anymore.
It was getting
Yeah.
flooded every
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not there anymore.
Because I wondered how that ball field could,
Yeah.
the baseball field could withstand all that.
Yeah.
Because every year it seemed like those fences were laying down. And I'm like, geez,
Yeah.
gotta cost a lot of money to put them back up.
I'm glad you brought up the dog park issue.
Mhm.
It kind of recently there's been a lot of stuff in the news over in Taylor Mill about they're talking about implementing a ban on pit bulls. I myself, I mean, you walked right past him, you petted him, he's a friendly dog. I have a pit bull, and I heard that Independence is going to be in the talks about adopting like a pit bull ban. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Where do you stand with that?
It's got to be on the owner's responsibility, right? I
Exactly.
Mean, if you're not, I've come across Dalmatians that are nasty. You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
yes.
Dalmatians.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why not ban all dogs at that point then? You know, if you're going to ban one particular, I think, yeah, you know, pit bulls get a bad name, you know, bad rep, but it's always the owner. How do you treat the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like I said, German Shepherds can be just as bad. And
Oh yeah, I've run into
Dalmatians
several
and-
German Shepherds.
and
that are
those
bad.
yappy poodles. You know what I mean? They start nipping too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So let's start
You're-
banning all dogs.
You're more likely to get bit by my dog Rico than you are my pit bull. My pit
He
bull
don't even have any teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rico don't even have any teeth.
Yeah.
Right,
You really
so-
are. Yeah. The pit bull's probably the sweetest dog you
That was a nice
have.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super nice dog. I would just hope that people could realize that pit bulls aren't bad dogs.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, it's the owners. You know, the pit bulls get a bad rap because people want to take them and they want to dog fight them and they want to train them to be mean and stuff. But then you also see like uplifting stories where different police stations are adopting them and training them to be police dogs. I mean, they're super smart dogs and they're strong and they can sniff out all kinds
They're
of stuff.
loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do everything that like a German Shepherd can do or a Doberman can do,
Yep.
and in my opinion, they can do it better.
Yeah.
You know, they're sweet dogs.
And that's why people need to get involved in the local government. I've gone to a couple council and I've watched them on YouTube and stuff like that, and you see the same 10 citizens show up, all the time.
Right.
And you have city council. So you got 20 people making all the decisions. You know, more people need to get involved with local politics.
I agree. Yeah.
We don't watch. I know we watch a lot of national politics, and we watch all the big stations, but we're not watching our own backyard.
Right.
More people need to get involved and say no. So then we can talk to our council members. I bet majority of people I talk to, barely know who council is or the mayor, for that.
Yeah, I didn't know who the mayor was.
You know what I'm saying? And which is shocking. When I started going, I thought everybody's going to know who the mayor is and who's council, and nobody knows.
Right.
We really need to pay attention what goes on in our own backyard, because that directly affects us immediately. When something goes on. Or,
more so than it does nationally.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
you're absolutely right about that.
Because the stuff nationally trickles down at home, right away. There you go.
Now, when you first set out and you were starting to be the mayor, what was one thing that you learned or that you had to learn that you were like super surprised about? You were just like, wow, I had no clue.
The amount of people that do not vote.
Really?
Yeah.
The amount of people that do not vote. And I get that people have certain reasons they don't vote. I've heard things from I don't want to be on jury duty. Or it doesn't count. My vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Jury duty is a big thing for me.
Right. I mean,
you don't want to do jury duty?
Dude, I want to do
don't.
jury duty because I think it sounds awesome and it gets me into work. So I'm all for that. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we're going back. I mean, I have a voters list that we go by. The people that vote the most. I don't skip every house. I go to every house.
Yeah.
Even though they might vote, might not vote, I still ask everybody. I said, hey, do you go out and vote? And they said, no, we don't vote. We don't care. Some of the streets that go down, only 3 or 4 houses out of like 30 houses can consistently vote.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we shouldn't be shocked either. When the numbers come out and national election, only 1/3 of the country votes.
Yeah.
You're talking to 3 people. There's one here that doesn't vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
1/3.
Don't be scared
voting.
of jury duty, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I love voting. That's like something that when I turned, 18, right?
Right.
That was something
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go vote.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's like I feel like an adult. I can go vote. It just kind of feels like I could put my voice to something. It's just something I can just be like.
There's a responsibility.
Yeah,
towards it.
like
Yeah.
I want to go vote. Voting's awesome. Like every
Right.
time I can vote, I vote. I go with my mom or I go with my wife. Like we stand in line. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Every time it may not turn out the way you want it. You want it to turn out, but it's like
At least
you
at least
you
did
feel
something.
like you voted. It's not like, man, you know what? I kind of wish such and such would have won. Like if I would have voted, maybe. But it's like, you know what? I voted.
And that's partly like my argument, I guess, as well, is that we live in a traditionally red state.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about like your vote doesn't, like people say, what's the point? My vote doesn't really count. Kind of feel like I'm in that minority or group. It's that we're in a traditionally red state. Why guest vote? But I've never really met somebody on a local level.
Right.
I live in Covington, but yeah, that's I guess like that's always been my view on it too. Not to mention jury duty. That's also, like I said, it was a big thing for me. Do not want to serve on a jury.
Voting
I feel like my
and
job.
jury duty get you out of work, man.
My job's. I feel really responsible for my job,
Yeah.
and I feel like if I'm not there, then
But they have to.
for
It's
my
law.
ethic.
It's law,
I feel-
man.
Yeah, I know.
You're protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a government kind of job, and but like I feel like if I'm not there representing myself at my place of work, like I'm like, man, I don't want people to fall out of like with me,
Yeah.
What? All you gotta say is, I vote. I got jury duty. That's all you gotta
That's
do.
true.
And
Yeah.
whether
I mean,
it's-
I'm with you.
And there's plenty of time. That you get from 6 in the morning to 6 at night. So
Yeah.
if you go early in the
Yeah.
morning, I know nobody wants to get up early. I get that.
That's the
but-
best
I'm up
time,
at-
man.
I'm
go
up
early
at
in the morning.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Yeah.
5:45. I wake up, but
There
I have
you
to be at
go.
work at 7. So
And where you live, you could probably walk across the street
I do, yeah.
to your
Oh.
job
there's
and
no-
vote.
Now there's no
yes,
excuse.
my place of work is also I don't know if it's my voting spot, but I'm guessing it's probably my voting
It probably is.
spot. It probably is.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that by law they got to give you 4 hours to go vote.
Yep. I
Yeah.
have to.
So
Yeah.
I mean, people should take advantage of that. I hear that a lot too. Oh, I can't vote on time. I got to work, and they're like, you get 4 hours. I mean,
Yep.
I know I don't think they have to pay you for it. I don't want to say that, but
Right.
But they have to allow
They
you. You
have to
can't
allow
get in
you the
trouble.
time. Yeah.
Yep,
the
they
4
have
hours to go
to.
vote.
It's law.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's important to vote.
I take full advantage of it. It's like, I'm going to vote. I
mean,
tell
it
my
counts
work.
as it's that one place you can go in the booth. Nobody's around you, and nobody's telling you who to vote for, what to vote for. You're taking the time, and I can hit yes to this person, or
Yep.
no to that person.
Right.
It means something. That's what this country was built on, was voting.
Yeah.
We have the right to go vote, you in or out. Either way.
Yep.
Did you vote in the last election?
Oh yeah, I vote every
Vote
year.
every year?
The only time I'll be honest, the only time I didn't vote was when I was in the army. And I didn't understand how to do the absentee ballot.
I was going to say, you probably had an
I
absentee
didn't,
ballot.
and I should have asked more. But before I left for the army, I used to vote. And but when I came back, I voted. But like I said, I should have done more research on the absentee. Shame on me. So
I can imagine that could be a little confusing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they put things out there, but when I'm in my young 20s, I ain't listening.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind, how old are you?
39.
Really?
Last.
Wow.
Last,
I would not have guessed that, man. You're a young-looking guy.
See, man,
Thank
you
you.
got
Yeah.
a good hairline for 39.
Thank you.
You got a damn good hairline.
This headset's messing up my hair.
That's one of the upgrades. I'm looking to get, like little earbud headphones.
Let's get Britney Spears mics.
Yeah.
Would have guessed 34 at the oldest.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was thinking, I honestly thought I was older than you.
No,
I was thinking you were between like 30, 34, somewhere in there.
I've heard 26, and I go, wow.
Thank you.
I've heard, yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Now I know when you run for president, you have to be at least 36.
It's like 40-something, I thought.
5, right? 35?
Yeah, I think it's
35. It might be
35,
35. Yeah. Is there an age cutoff
I haven't
to
heard
be
that.
mayor?
No, because they got dogs that are mayors. So
Yeah, that's
That is true. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe in dog years they count them that way. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
So, we discussed, like, after the mayor thing. Is there something else after mayor that if you got mayor and you liked being mayor, is there maybe like an office?
Would you
something
would
further?
you continue to be the mayor,
Yeah.
or would you want to move up?
If I do good and the people appreciate it, maybe I'll do another term.
Yeah.
But my ambition is definitely not to be. I don't want to be
You
a
don't be
senator or
yeah.
a representative. I want to inspire more people to run. I think if people see that I can do it, and it's just an average Joe. I hate that's cliche, I know, but if I can do it, why can everybody else can do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Constantly have new, fresh ideas in there. We get stale with the same old people. No pun intended, but it's just let's rotate. Have new ideas. We go to work and they always looking for new ideas from different people.
Right.
Why can't we do that in politics?
Average Joe.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I did like that. I was
Dodgeball
like,
team.
When you were thinking of campaign slogans, was that one of them that came up, and you were just like, nah, let's not.
That's a little bit too
little dodgeball,
baseline.
yeah.
That's why I went with Go With Joe.
I like Go With Joe better.
Go With Joe.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. When I first saw one of your signs out, that's what I noticed. I was like, Go With Joe. I like that.
I like your
I fit.
signs, by the way. Your signs are really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With the first set of signs, we didn't make them as big, so we made some mistakes. And then the second set of signs we put out, we made them bigger, but I still think they came out better. We've got the nice little signs, and they work.
Yeah, I point them out every time I see them to my wife. I'm like, there's a Joe sign. There's a Joe sign.
It's funny when you
Joe
see your
sign.
name everywhere all over the city. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's me. I never expected that. Some of the people that work for me at work, they go, Joe, we see your signs everywhere.
Go With Joe.
Yeah.
Now, how would that work when you become mayor? Is it something? Is being a mayor like a full-time job, or are you able to keep your normal average job?
No, it's only a part. The mayor for Independence is only a part-time gig. It only pays $15,000 a year. So
Oh, wow.
that's all it pays. The city has a city administrator. So he does pretty much. I delegate everything. Here we need to get this done and get that done, and that's what he does. So he gets all the work done. As far as on the back end of that stuff.
Gotcha.
So I still have to work. $15,000 a year is not going to pay it.
No way.
Although $15,000 isn't a really small chump change or anything.
No,
that's
not by means, but-
decent, but it's not enough to live on.
Right.
It's not enough to keep the lights on and
Get a
gallon
loaf of
of milk.
bread.
Yeah,
Right,
or
yeah.
a loaf of bread even. Yeah.
Right.
I call up my down payment for my Hellcat. That's what I can. That's what I always say whenever I get some money. I'm like, yeah.
And don't
That's
forget that
money
money
from my
gets
Hellcat.
taxed too.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
It
so-
does. Yeah. Yep.
So by the end of the day, it's probably $10,000, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sucks it's not like the president. Like when you're the president, you get what? It's like $400,000.
It's like something like that.
For
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Is it for life?
It's for life.
Yeah,
Is it?
that's for life.
Is it
Yeah,
for life?
yeah,
Really?
that's for life.
I
And they
didn't know
get
that.
full security detail for life. Everything, the whole nine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I get security detail.
Hey, if you need
If you need
some,
security detail, we got you, man.
Yeah, we-
Even though you're a Blackhawks fan, we still got you.
Come on. Maybe I can just have a guy stand behind me and go, yeah, every time I say something.
hey, it may not look like it, but when I put a suit on, I'm a pretty good looking guy.
It turns into like John Wick.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
scary looking. So
Yeah.
if you ever
With
need
the
somebody to get your
sunglasses?
back,
Yeah.
yeah. I got you, man. I got you.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know where to go from here, man.
I mean,
we've covered all the bases.
I don't either. It's I don't know. It's been good.
been a good
It's
show.
nice to have somebody that actually cares about independence. To know somebody cares about independence. Like I said, to have a face to a name, a voice to the name, things like that. It's
Right.
good to know that somebody out there is just going. And it's not corny. It's going door to door. Talking to people. It's like I know like when when you came to my door, we talked for about probably about 10 minutes.
Right.
You went to my neighbors, I saw you talking to them. They have a sign in their front yard.
Yeah.
I was like, he's pretty convincing because I know them. It's like, he's pretty convincing. And then, I left because, we went to dinner and then I'm like, he's still out working. It's like, that dude wants it,
How many hours a night do you think you walk?
I know I hit my steps every day.
I was going to ask you, how many steps do you get?
I just looked before I got here. 15,000 a day. 15,000 steps today.
That's a
Nice.
lot of steps.
I go out in the morning. So like I said, I go out in the morning, put the kids on the bus, get them ready for school. I go out in the morning, probably get about an hour in of just tagging, and then
Yeah.
at night I try to get out about 6 o'clock. So about 6, about 8:30. Sometimes 9, secretly in the dark, I'll be tagging doors, just quietly hanging some tags because that's all the time I have. And then on the weekend, I try to get out about 10 o'clock, and I work until the sun's down.
Yeah.
I try to
Yeah.
give people a break on the weekend. I try to stop around 6, 7 o'clock right in that area, especially
Yeah.
on Sunday too. I'd like, okay, everyone's trying to get the kids to bed and do all that jazz. But
Right.
any time I can get in, and for the most part, I'm out door tagging alone. I actually have somebody finally helping me. I've had a neighbor come out and help me tag. That doubled my work in one night. That was amazing. So
Heck yeah.
yeah. So I'm
Just
trying to get,
dropping tags on doors.
yeah, and I have them go drop the tags, and then I go to the people that that I see outside or vote the most. You know what I mean? I try to
Yeah.
hit them. I say, listen.
So you got a list of people that vote the most.
Yeah, so this politicians all have this voters list of people who. go out and
really?
vote. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know
Wow.
it existed till I
I
started
didn't
running.
either,
You know,
yeah.
but I was going to every door. I didn't know you voted. I just go like, I'm going to every door.
Yeah.
And maybe convince them to go out and vote. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, it's worth a
it's-
shot.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's important to hit everybody. Even if they don't vote for me or don't agree with me, I at least give everybody a face.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
had people, my opponent, they said, no, I'm voting for him. I said, that's okay. At least you have a face.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's also by your character as well. It's like it's like the opposite guy came up that I'm not voting for. He was actually nice about it and walked away. It's like you could have just skipped their house because maybe they did. There could have been a sign there saying they're voting for the other guy or something. But that just shows character. Like, hey, just hear me out or
It might be the lasting impression that
exactly.
when you're behind that curtain,
Yeah.
And nobody else is around.
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
really know anybody else other than
Have you had anybody get
Flip?
kind of rude with you or anything like that?
I've had really positive reception 9 out of 10 times. I've had one. He didn't like politicians, period.
Oh wow.
Did not like politicians, period. He told me, get the hell out of here. Can I say that on here? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want.
you say whatever
That's
you
what he
want.
said to me. So I was like, oh, okay. So I ran back to my truck. I said, I'll see you later. Sorry to bother you. He must have had some bad taste or, somebody maybe burned him. Who knows?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've had somebody says, I don't talk to politicians, but, he was a voter, And I told him, listen, I'm not your everyday politician. Just,
Yeah.
So I let him go at it. I said, see you later. Appreciate it. And I've had people say, I'm voting for the other guy. Okay, no problem. See you later,
I will say this before we get out of here. I was a little hurt, Joe. I got to admit, I was a little hurt on the inside. Dusty had told me his story about how you knocked on his door and you talked to him or whatnot. And then I just got the hanger, man. I told him, I was like, man, I'm really waiting for him to knock on my door. I want to talk to this guy. I want to find out what he's all about. and I just got the door hanger. Man.
I knocked on your door.
Did you?
I knocked on your neighbor's door because he's a veteran, and I knocked across the street. When I did this, I knocked on all these.
Well, you didn't knock hard enough.
No.
'Cause I didn't hear it.
Sometimes I knock on doors and people don't answer. People do not answer. They'll be like, because it's late at night. They don't want to.
I think it's like sales or something.
Yeah. I always have to say I'm running for mayor, and then people, oh, okay,
Yeah, like I didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like, my wife was like, "Who's that?" And, like I saw, because like, I was kind of like, I got a puppy, so I'm kind of like shooing him away, like get away, get away. And then I come out and you're like, "Hey, I'm Joe. I'm running for mayor." I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
So
Well,
I thought that was kind of
makes
funny.
me feel better.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better. And in all honesty, if you had knocked and my dogs went crazy, I probably didn't think nothing about it because they bark at everything. So that's probably what happened.
Yeah. If I knock on a door, the dogs are barking and nobody shows up, then I'm like, they probably don't want to answer the door, so
Yeah.
I just move on.
I would have definitely answered the door for you, Joe.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm sorry if you felt hurt that I didn't answer
Deeply,
my door.
deeply. But you did call. You did message me that night. So.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. My wife told me, she was like, "Yeah, somebody hung something on the door," and I kind of looked, and I was like, "What? What'd they hang on the door?" And she was like, "The guy running for mayor," and I was like, Where's the thing? Where's it at? I want to see who it was." And like she handed it to me, and I was like, "This is the guy I've been wanting to talk to." So I'm definitely glad you knocked on my door, even though I didn't hear it, which I apologize.
That's
I'm
all
sorry
right.
for that.
And you're a Blackhawks fan.
Yes, I am. Yes.
That's the only
Go
thing I
Hawks.
got against you, man. What about if you become mayor, you get us an NHL team? An independence?
We'll work on that ASAP. Right, independence.
That'd be good.
That'll drive business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll get us the lunch crowd we need. That'll get people.
That gets
moving
everything
here.
we need,
That'll
man.
give us everything we need, man.
Yep.
We need an NHL team in Independence.
That'd be
What would
awesome.
the name be? The Independence Hancocks?
I was gonna say Indians,
No.
but I don't think that's why
No.
anymore.
The Independence. I don't know.
Bucks.
You could say Pioneers, but
Pioneer.
that's
I'd like
kinda-
the Pioneers.
That'd be kind of ripping off like Simon Kenton and all that.
But I mean, it's well, if we're talking NHL, then it'd be a national team.
Yeah. I don't know, Joe. What do you think?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
You need a
The Independence-
cabinet meeting for
the
that.
What's
Independence
the
average
independence
Joes.
animal? What do we have? We have a town animal.
We have an animal.
Do we have like a town animal? You have the state bird. Do we have the town
Ooh.
bird or anything like that?
Oh,
Town.
I'm sure
I
we
don't know.
do, but
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, look. Jamie looked that up for us.
yeah.
Research.
Well,
I know, like I know Independence and
you-
Simon Kent used to be Pioneers.
you
and
could
there's-
always go
I know
and-
some of you used to be Stallions. Stallions and Jaguars, and then now I don't know what it's Royals now.
Yeah,
But I don't-
And
I don't
Twin
know.
Hoffels, what, Thoroughbreds?
Yeah, Thoroughbreds.
What about the Independence Ice Hawks?
Ice Hawks is cool. I
Ice
like
Hawks
that.
would be
Yeah.
kinda
works.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hawks flying around here.
There is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Or vultures. We can Independence vultures. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. I could wear that jersey.
Yeah. I'd rock it.
With like a Looney Tunes-ish looking vulture on it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That'd look kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm all about
I
it.
don't know if we have a city animal.
Well, I tell you what, when Joe gets in office, we're going to have a
We're
City
one.
animal.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have to have one. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I decree.
it's got to happen.
Mayoral decree.
And we got to have like a city flower. We got to have the
Mhm.
city flower. We got to have the city. Do we want to do bird or just animal in general?
We're gonna have to talk to one of those bird people that know everything. What's an independence?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew a guy.
Probably going to end up being cardinals.
Yeah.
Honestly. No.
Mm.
I see a lot of robins. Just
Well, you
call
see robins everywhere.
yeah,
Robins. and, like,
Crows.
little-
A lot of crows around.
Yeah,
here.
a lot of crows. Yeah.
buzzards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Turkeys.
Turkeys. I'm down for that. Independence. What? Turkeys. Independence turkeys.
And every year on Thanksgiving, you can pardon one.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See, we can turn this around.
Oh, this is a fun city. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we'll have it interactive. People can vote on this kind of stuff.
That's another cool thing about Independence is they have like the Christmas walk.
Yeah,
What do I think they have like?
they have all kinds of parades.
You have all kinds of parades, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's cool. I would like to see a little bit more stuff like that.
So-
they have a decent amount. A little bit more would be cool.
We have Lincoln Ridge Park, Bowman Field, Doe Run Lake, Memorial Park, Mills Road Park, Pioneer Park, Richardson Road Park, Sterling Staggs Park. But
I
that's
thought
the
he was
only.
looking up birds.
Yeah, well, I'm
That's an
trying.
interesting bird.
Doe run, but I'm like
That's not
the
really
Independence
That's not
Bucks.
Independence. That's more Covington. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm looking up on the Independence Wikipedia.
Lincoln
Oh,
Ridge
okay.
is like in Independence.
Mills
Right.
Road is that's county too.
Yeah.
I love Mills Road Park.
I love
It's a
Missouri
nice
Park
park.
too. It's a
Yeah.
big park.
Yeah.
It's not really run by
Independence.
by Independence. It's run by like the
by the
NKB baseball. They do all the baseball fields and the concessions. And then
I don't know. Honestly don't know who runs it. You know, I know they take pretty good care of it. You know, they stock the lakes, things like that.
I mean, I don't know about the lakes, though. I know like the baseball fields. That's all like.
I
private,
always thought
subsidized or whatever.
Mills Road was Ryland Heights, or Ryland area.
It could be.
Yeah,
pretty close.
because that's next to Ryland Elementary.
Well, you got that new
Yeah.
subdivision behind there. That's all
Mhm.
Independence though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it might
Yeah.
be Independence. Because I
Mhm.
mean, it's right there.
Yeah, it's on the border.
It's on the cusp.
I think that subdivision high school Scott. I don't think it's Simon Kenton there either.
No, you're right. I think it is Scott. I got a
Yeah.
friend that lives back there, and his son goes to Scott.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was saying Scott's not Independence.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I figure. If you're going to go Independence blank, you'd want to go something patriotic. So Independence,
Eagles.
Eagles, or Independence.
Pioneers and Eagles both are pretty patriotic. You know,
Yeah.
Pioneers or
The
Eagles.
Independence rights.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
The Independence. I don't know.
I
Fireworks.
I just think if you went with if you went with Independence Pioneers, that just doesn't roll off the tongue.
It sounds like it would be Pioneers Independence.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm thinking NHL team. I'm thinking Ice Hawks.
Ice Hawks would be cool.
I think that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Just sounds neat.
yeah.
The Ice Hawks.
The Bald Eagles.
No, Ice Hawks
Ice
sounds
Hawks.
better than
The bald
Alright.
eagles.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's going to be our time this week, folks. I want to thank Joe for coming in. It's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Do
I
you have
appreciate
like
it.
any
Thank you.
final words that you want to?
Go out and vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, if it, regardless of whatever, go out and vote, make your voice heard, and at least give me a consideration. I'm just giving another option. You know, before I ran, you know, my opponent was unopposed. I'm just showing up to give another option.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go out and vote. Either way, go out and vote.
Let your voice be heard.
Absolutely.
I think. Now, I'm not a guy that votes all the time. At least not in the local elections and stuff. But I'm definitely going to go out and vote this year.
It's
And-
midterms, so it's important too. You know.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All because Joe actually came in. I feel like I know him. You know, I think if the other guy who is the mayor, if he would have came in and, you know, shook my hand, you know, kissed my babies and all that stuff, you know.
Did you kiss any baby show?
Shaking a lot of babies, kissing a lot of hands.
I think what Joe does, going door to door, actually meeting the people, whether or not they vote or they vote for the other guy, at least people know who Joe is.
Absolutely.
And I think that makes a
Yeah.
world of difference.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
A lot of props
Yeah.
Thank
coming
you.
in here doing this tonight. That was awesome.
Thank you for having me. I really
Wish I
appreciate
had
it.
the
Hey.
opportunity to vote for you.
Especially on
You
our show.
could, man. You
Well, I live
could.
in Covington.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you non-voting.
I know.
Yeah. But yes, thanks for coming in, Joe. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you once again. Thank you. I really
No-
appreciate it.
No problem. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get out of here tonight. I just want to remind everybody, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hit us up on iTunes, Stitcher. We're on Google Play. We're not on Spotify or Pandora or nothing. Apparently, you got to have some kind of special podcast deal thing with like a what's the word I'm looking for here? Help me out.
Sponsor?
No, not a sponsor.
Channel?
You gotta go through like a podcast hosting service or
gotcha.
something.
Yeah.
To get on, and we've been doing this for 5 years, people. We're old school. We got the website kyhbb.com. You can go to and listen.
Are we still looking forward to the Heather we had on the podcast before?
Yeah,
we
with
still
the
look-
status pending and the nature versus narcissism.
Are we still looking forward to doing Nature versus Narcissism?
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah.
that's
Because I knew it was
soon
coming up. She wanted to do it around Halloween.
She got her studio
Yeah.
just set up.
I saw
so,
it
Yeah.
on Facebook.
I don't know if she wants us to do it as a group or individually or what.
I'd like to do it as a group,
I think
as long
it'd
as
be fun.
there's enough mics for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if not,
We'll
I
bring
can,
a couple.
I can bring
As
some,
long as,
yeah.
even if I chimed in once, I would like to I would rather go in all as a group than one at a time.
Yeah. Be less awkward, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of
I feel
awkward
like-
when I did the Well Daggum podcast.
I feel if we go in there as like a group, we would just turn into Kentucky
It
Highbrow
wouldn't be.
Boys.
It wouldn't be a nature versus star
It
system.
would. It would be Kentucky Highbrow Boys.
but
all
at
day.
the same time, it'd still be fun.
It would be. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
it would be fun.
Yeah.
But all right, we're going to get out of here, folks. Thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm your host, Jerry Saylor.
And I'm Dusty B.
I'm chubby friendly.
And I'm Joe Ulloa.
And
Thanks,
we
Joe.
are out.
and vote for Joe.
Vote for Joe.
Go with Joe.
Yeah, go with Joe.
There you go. Go with Joe.
Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Good time.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. How many viewers did you have?
The most I seen at one time was 7.
Ah. That's all right. That's still cool. That was kind of fun.
Oh man, it is fun.